Hi everyone, hope you all had a wonderful week. In this week's report, we'll see if Lake Eucumbene is still rising and see whether fish were biting. Pete has another great Australian high country pick to share with us. I spotlight the historic Kiandra Cemetery. There's the weather, pick of the week, and more. All three waterways were up slightly this week. Even though the rises were small, just 0.1% at Lake Eucumbene, it's pleasing to see them up at all this late into spring. Lake Eucumbene is now just 4.5% lower than it was on this day last year. Plenty of people were out and about during the week, despite some pretty windy days. Those who persevered caught some good fish. Danny spent a few windy days at Bucandera last weekend. Danny rewarded for braving the elements with this lovely big brown caught off the bank with worms. Fantastic catch, Danny. Phil sent in this pic of his young fellow Chris, who caught his first brown last week. The group were fishing at Yens Bay, and Chris hooked this 62 centimetre beauty on a worm. Phil added it was only Chris's second ever trip to Lake Eucumbene. Great catch, Chris, and I bet you're hooked for life now. Tight lines, mate. Nathan took a trip up to Bucandera recently and landed this beautiful 4.5 pound brown on a wet fly. Nathan adding the fishing was tough, with barely any insect life about. Glad you persevered, Nathan. It's a great catch. Ewan decided to wet a line at nearby Pijar Dam Goulburn after work on Thursday, and Ewan's glad he did. He caught this whopper brown on a 3-inch paddle tail with a 1/8 ounce jig head. Ewan estimates the fish was around 65 centimetres long. It's an amazing catch, Ewan, and I bet you've just encouraged a few others to try their luck at this lovely little dam. Lake Eucumbene regular and good mate Reno spent last Tuesday afternoon at Frying Pan. Reno said conditions were tough, with the wind relentless, as can be seen in one of Reno's photos. Reno had one small hookup on the fly. Despite the less than pleasant conditions, Reno enjoyed being back at his favourite lake. Tight lines, mate. Jet and Ricky were back at their favourite part of the lake during the week, Bucandera. Jet spending some time doing some bank fishing, while Ricky was out on the boat. Jet said she had a great fish on, but lost it close to the bank. Jet also saying she got pretty sunburn on the bank. Well, the sun can really catch you out up there as it reflects off the water. Jet brought a kayak up and was hoping conditions would ease so she could take it out for a paddle. Hope you made it out, Jet. Great to see you both back at the lake, Jet and Ricky, and good to see you still wearing your lucky cap, mate. Kylie landed a couple of nice browns from the bank at Bucandera yesterday morning. The fish all caught on worms, with Kylie saying power bait did no good. Thanks for sharing with us, Kylie. Jack took a trip up to White Rocks during the week and caught a pigeon pair, one rainbow and one brown. The fish caught from the bank using sherbet and rainbow power bait. Nice catches, Jack. Jim has another of his flies to share with us. Jim saying it's a fly that's useful when targeting dragonfly leapers. It's a good example of a fly that is suggestive rather than imitative. As long as the profile's about right and the presentation is quick and accurate, then there's a good chance of success. Jim providing some helpful tips. Slap the fly hard onto the water to get their attention. The fish will hone in on the plop rather than do a visual assessment. It's necessary to put the fly onto the water disturbance quickly before the fish moves on. Leave the fly for about 20 seconds, give it a few small twitches, wait another 15 seconds, and then move on. Repeat the process with the next fish, and so on. It's challenging fishing, but very rewarding when it comes off. Jim adding, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, remember how many kilometres you are from your lawnmower. So true, Jim. Joe also posted a pic of one of his favourite flies. Joe adding used to have a blast using these at Frying Pan. They were great for dry dripper rigs and were very durable. Thanks for sharing, Joe. I absolutely love this pic. It was taken by the Snowy Mountains' favourite photographer, Pete Wilson. We've seen many of Pete's amazing pics over the years, but I think this is one of his best. It was taken on the 25th of November, overlooking Yens Bay and Old Adaminaby and towards the dam wall. It's a beautiful capture, Pete. Well done. And Pete also took some great drone footage from Yens Bay recently. Take a look at this. This week I spotlight Kiandra Cemetery. The Kiandra Cemetery is located on the side of a hill in a remote area that once was the site of the old gold mining town of Kiandra. The town was evacuated and almost all the buildings demolished in 1974 when the area was acquired by the National Parks and Wildlife Commission and included in the Kosciuszko National Park. The Kiandra Cemetery, which dates back to the 1860s, was recorded on old survey plans and in various historical records. It was divided into two sections, European and Chinese. The remains of the Chinese were customarily exhumed and transported back to China. The number of people buried at Kiandra Cemetery remains unknown. Unfortunately, the ravages of time and interference by vandals have left only remnants of the original cemetery. At a height of 1,400 metres above sea level, Kiandra Cemetery is one of the highest cemeteries in Australia. I've been to visit this cemetery so many times over the years, and I find it both beautiful and very sombre. Every time I go there, I'm overcome by thoughts of the people who once lived there. What was it like? What did they do? Their battles against the elements and vastness of the area at the time. It just always gets to me. I took this photo a few years back, and it really reminds you of just how tough it must have been to live there. As mentioned earlier, the exact number of people buried at Kiandra will never be known, but between 1891 and 1912, records indicate that 47 people were buried there. Of these, 19 or 40% were aged 3 years and under. A further 4 were between 4 and 20 years of age. It's believed the oldest person buried there is James Preston Merry, who was 88, while Bertha Riekman was only 5 weeks old. Respiratory and juvenile diseases, including pneumonia, TB, and scarlet fever, as well as exposure, were the recorded deaths of 45% of people buried in the Kiandra Cemetery. Unfortunately, like the rest of the Kiandra area, the cemetery was further damaged during the 2020 bushfires. I took this photo not long after the fires swept through. While seeing it like this made me really sad, it also reminded me that despite everything that nature throws at Kiandra, the cemetery will always stand as a reminder to this wonderful part of Australia and some of the amazing and brave people who live there. A cool, windy and showery start to the week for Lake Eucumbene, but conditions will improve and it will be quite warm from midweek. Maximums ranging from a cold 9 degrees on Monday to a warmer 26 degrees next Friday. Vic posted these great pics he took up at Lake Eucumbene last Monday. Vic spent Monday afternoon and evening till dark, but didn't see a single rise, even when the water glassed out. Vic wanted to let others know what sort of little creatures were around the banks close to the water to help fly fishermen get an idea of what to bring up on their next trip. Thanks for the tip and thinking of others, Vic. Speaking of bugs, Tiny posted this pic during the week of the first Christmas beetle for the season. The pic generated a few comments on the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group, with many saying they don't seem to see as many Christmas beetles around these days. It actually got me thinking the same. I seem to remember them in swarms when I lived at Cooma and Adaminaby, and I can't say I've really seen that many over the last 10 years or so. Anyway, thanks for sharing, Tiny. We've seen many great old photos posted by John, who's been fishing in the mountains for over 50 years. John spent the day at the Adaminaby races last Saturday and told me he had a great time, even though his punting was mainly a donation to the local bookies. Well, I'm part owner of some racehorses myself, John, and they can be very hard to predict, mate. In true form, John combined his visit to the races with a fish, enjoying the peace and quiet on the Curringo. What a lovely spot for a fish, John. John also spent part of his busy weekend at the beautiful and very scenic Jernumma Pondage. The pondage, completed in 1968, is approximately 2 kilometres from the pretty mountain town of Taubingo. It impounds the Tumut River and is one of 16 major dams that make up the Snowy Mountain scheme. Although John didn't land a fish this time, what an absolutely beautiful scene. Thanks for sharing your trip with us, John. It was Ricky's wife Jet's birthday on Wednesday. Ricky asked Jet what she wanted for her birthday, and when she said she wanted to go somewhere she'd never been before, Ricky, ever the romantic, decided to take her to Angler's Reach for a fish. Ricky completed the birthday celebrations by gifting Jet a new knife for her to be able to gut any fish she caught. Judging by Jet's smile, I'd say you were spot on the money, Ricky. I hope you had a wonderful and memorable birthday, Jet. Wayne posted this pic during the week, adding a late October-November camp at Braemar Bay used to be a feature of his fishing life. However, Wayne moved 900 kilometres north of his home at Wollongong. Hope you're a Dragons supporter, Wayne. And unfortunately, the last time he made the 11.5 hour trip, it rained for a week and he left after 3 days. Wayne hasn't been back for years, but said he's seeing all the photos and comments on the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group, even the ones without pictures of trout, has made him decide he's coming back for a visit very soon. We hope you do, Wayne. The lake's missed you. Kylie was up at Middling Bank on Thursday and posted these pics to the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group. Kylie captioned the pics, "No boating today." A sensible decision, Kylie. The winds have been fierce up there for a few days now. Thanks for sharing with us. Ricky and Jet, who were down at Bucandera, posted these great pics taken on Friday morning, the 28th of November. Maritime Rescue, the SES and Water Police out and about on the water conducting some important training. Ricky adding, not surprisingly, they were really nice people to chat with as well. It's reassuring to see our beautiful lake being kept safe, and thanks to everyone involved. For Pick of the Week, I've chosen this great shot posted to the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group by Renault. It was taken on Tuesday evening, the 25th of November, from Frying Pan. It's a beautiful capture, Renault, and thanks for sharing with us, mate. How's everyone feeling? Well, I hope no one watching this video has a headache, but if you do, what type do you have? Migraine? Hypertension? Stress? Or losing a big fish? I hope everyone feels better soon. Well, that's the report for this week. I hope you all found it useful. As always, I'm happy to take on any feedback or suggestions. And don't forget, if you're looking for more information on Lake Eucumbene, check out the social media channels. There's the website, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, and you'll be notified whenever I put up new content. Have a great week, everyone. Stay safe and tight lines. Bye for now.